The unconstitutionality of the recent Supreme Court ruling on citizenship by Domenico Meschino. The recent rulings by the Italian Supreme Court of Cassation, accompanied by circular of October 3, 2024, have introduced significant barriers for individuals seeking Italian citizenship by descent. These decisions, which retroactively apply principles from the 1912 citizenship law, violate constitutional protections and contradict fundamental principles of justice, equity, and the rule of law. Below is an analysis of the primary ways this ruling conflicts with the Italian constitution. First, violation of the principle of non-retroactivity, Article 25. The Italian constitution explicitly prohibits the retroactive application of laws that impose new obligations or restrictions. Article 25 states, "No one may be punished except in accordance with a law that was in force before the offense was committed." The recent ruling applies a restrictive interpretation of the 1912 citizenship law to cases processed decades ago, long after the 1912 law was superseded by the 1992 citizenship law. This retroactive application imposes restrictions that deprive modern descendants of their constitutional right to citizenship. 2. Ignoring the supremacy of the 1992 law. The 1992 citizenship law reformed and replaced the outdated provisions of the 1912 law. It expanded citizenship rights, including protections against arbitrary loss of citizenship, eliminated many discriminatory and restrictive provisions of the 1912 law. Applying the 1912 law in 2024 disregards the authority of the 1992 law, which constitutes the current legal framework for citizenship. This undermines the principle that newer laws override older ones, especially when the latter are discriminatory or obsolete. Third, contradiction of the principle of equality. Article 3. Article 3 of the Constitution guarantees the equality of all citizens before the law and prohibits any form of discrimination. The ruling creates a discriminatory situation where descendants of Italian citizens lose eligibility for citizenship based on outdated and unjust norms. Specifically, the 1912 law disproportionately penalized minors who lost citizenship due to their parents' naturalization. Modern descendants are penalized based on discriminatory rules that fail to uphold the equality principles enshrined in the Constitution. Fourth, violation of the right to family and cultural heritage, Articles 29 and 30. The Constitution recognizes the family as a fundamental institution, Article 29, and protects the rights of parents and children, Article 30. Citizenship represents a crucial bond with one's family and cultural identity. Retroactively applying a restrictive interpretation of the 1912 law severs these bonds, violating constitutional protections that safeguard family unity and cultural heritage. 5. Arbitrary decisions and legal uncertainty. The ruling undermines legal certainty, a cornerstone of the rule of law. Applicants who filed for citizenship based on the rules in effect at the time of application, e.g., the 1992 law, now find themselves subject to an entirely different legal framework. This retroactive application creates arbitrary legal outcomes and erodes trust in the Italian legal system. 6. Non-compliance with international human rights standards. Italy is a signatory to various international agreements emphasizing citizenship as a fundamental right. The European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, prohibits retroactive application of laws that impose new burdens or restrict acquired rights. The ruling violates these principles by denying citizenship to descendants who would otherwise qualify under modern laws. 7. Ethical and moral issues. The retroactive application of the 1912 law raises significant ethical questions. It holds modern descendants accountable for decisions made by their ancestors in entirely different historical and social contexts. It contradicts the progressive and inclusive spirit of the 1992 law, which sought to modernize citizenship rules and extend rights to the Italian diaspora. Conclusion: the recent ruling by the Supreme Court of Cassation violates multiple provisions of the Italian Constitution, including Articles 3, 25, 29, and 30, as well as international human rights principles. By retroactively applying the 1912 law, the ruling disregards the protections afforded by the 1992 law and creates a discriminatory and arbitrary legal framework that undermines trust in the Italian legal system. Italy must reaffirm its commitment to principles of fairness, equality, and non-retroactivity, ensuring that citizenship laws are applied in accordance with the Constitution and modern legal standards.